After you have all the connections done and everything in place, we're going to show you how to set up the system. So you're gonna come and turn the power on. It's a minute. Here we go. When you see the screen color yellow, that means the system is not running. Also, in this button here is where you turn the system on and off. We're going to show you which every set to set up the screen. So you're going to go to the setup screen first before you start the system, because we need to make sure that everything is properly done, because otherwise it will alarm. So here in this screen, you cannot see it. There we go. Okay. Here in this screen, you can see all the different buttons. We're gonna go one by one. So server speed. The server speed, okay, here you can see that we already has set it up, okay? But this row here, the speed, we're gonna have to determine that by manually finding the flow of the pump. And then we will be able to determine this. This is just approximately where it should be. It's not exactly right, but the column here, through hours, you just leave it as a B, and the number 10, you leave it as a B too. Okay? To get out of the screen, you just X. Okay, cycle setup. We already have it set up, but what you're gonna have to do is, what do you have right now in your system? What you have in your system right now, you're gonna plug it in here. Right now, we have cycles every 120 minutes. So if you have it at that, great. If not, just set it up of whatever you have right now. Also, the fan run time, just take it from your old system and plug it in here. So we get out of that. Now, fan setup. Okay, yes, you want to set up the fan. If you touch it, says no, and if you just touch it, says yes. Then also in here, whatever time you have the fan running right now, that's what you're gonna plug in here. And oh, sorry, my bad. First of all, you're gonna have to find out how long you are running the fan. After you find out how long you run the fan, you wanna add 5 minutes and put that number here. Pass it. Okay, back again to the fan, and I'm sorry. You know, you can take the information out of the old system and plug it in here. You know, here right now we just have a 15 minutes, and like I said, you know, it's 5 more minutes before the watering cycle, you know. And so if I have a 15 minutes and 5 minutes, that means 20 minutes. That help? That help? Yeah? That help? Okay. But anyway, so you can do that, okay? So again, get the information out of the old system and plug it into this one. So now we go to the gas. The gas is already going to be turned on, and if you want to turn it off, you just hit here, it's on or off, okay? So again, take the information from your old system and put it how long you want it. And then in here, leave this like they are. 1 minute after the fan is done, the gas is gonna come on, and it's gonna do it every watering cycle. Chemical one. Chemical one is the calcium. If you wanna turn it off, just hit it. For now, we're just gonna leave it on. just in case, is cyclic. If you hit that button, it turns to daily, and it's just gonna do it once a day. This way, it's just gonna do whatever you program it, and then you go to this button here, and this chemical is gonna start applying it after 24 hours of grow until 120. If after that, it won't do it anymore. Also, we have it set up that it does it every other cycle. So again, if you want to put it every cycle, you just put it 1. If you want it every other cycle, you put it 2. And if you want it, whatever you want, you can change this number to a 3, a 4, whatever. Right here, our facility, we do it every 2. Okay, then we go server speed. The server speed, okay, the hours, just leave it alone. And then after you determine the speed of the server, you're gonna take the force speed, you're gonna put it in here, and the second slower speed, you're gonna put it in the rest of the setup. Okay. Chemical 2. Again, chemical 2, SDP 1. If you want to shut it off, you shut it off, and here and then, but we're leaving it on. So this one is once a day, so we do it daily. And daily setup is going to start applying this chemical after 1 hour. It's going to stop at 96, and it's going to do at the 1900 hours, 7 o'clock at night. The only reason that we set it up like that, in case that if you plant a little late in the afternoon, it still will apply the chemical to the crop. Okay, get out of it. So we go to the holding tank setup. In here, the top one is the current temperature. Okay, so the target that you want to have is 22 degrees, or whatever you are comfortable with it right now. 22, 24, I'd not recommend more than 24. And then the tolerance is a 1 and a 2. I don't know what your tolerance you have right now. Again, check your old system and plug it in here. If you're comfortable with them, I recommend to plug it in here. Okay, Encore setup. Encore setup is just it's recycling 70% and it's sending to the wastewater 30 seconds. In here, you turn it on or turn it off. Okay? So,
Okay, this system also has the capability to control the chlorine, and if you'll see on the main screen, we have a chlorine parts per million on the reclaim tank. We can also have that on the holding tank, but in order to do that, you're going to need to buy some more chlorine monitoring equipment, and right now you seem to be doing fine with the chlorine system you have, so we're going to leave it like this, but at a later date, if you wanted, you could add the equipment and have this control your chlorine.
You can call us for more information.
Yeah, you can call us for more information about that if you like.
Okay.
Next, we're going to go to the holding tank valves. We just set a delay on those so that when the floats go up and down, you're not having the valves fluctuating, chattering, going on and off. So right now we have that at 10. That's what we set them all for. That generally works pretty good. Server alarm setup. Server did not make it home. What you're seeing there is if the server goes out and does not make it back home, at some point, say you have a wheel break, a chain break, something breaks on the server and it can't make it back home, you're going to get an alarm on that. It's stalled on a Venprox. What that means, it's stalled at the sensor. If it stays at that point too long and doesn't move fast enough, you're going to get an alarm. We've got that set at 60 seconds. server stall over the bin that's in between the sensors. We've got that set at 480. No flow time. That's if your system sees no water flowing when it comes on, it's going to send an alarm. Also, if your system sees water continue to flow for 20 seconds after it gets done watering, you're going to get an alarm. 15, 20 seconds generally works pretty well on that. We've got it set for 20. Temperature alarm setup. We've got the tank at this point set at 40 for the high set point and 20 for the low. This just because we don't have a tank set up on it at this point, and it'd be alarming on us all the time. But you want to set that generally just a few degrees above your target temperature and a few degrees below your target temperature, so that if it goes
6 degrees.
Yeah, Rez says about 6 degrees probably.
Okay.
That way, if it gets out of the tolerances, it's going to let you know about it. The room, we noticed on your system that the thermocouples in there are just have jumpers on them, so you're not using the room or the bin. So we just set those right now at very high and low points, 99 degrees and 10 degrees, since you're not using those, and we don't want you to have an alarm on that for no reason. If you want to put a probe in the room, that'd be good. You just need to get you some thermocouple and run that, and you can simply hook it in to the proper place on the system, and then you can have the room temperature monitored here on the system, which would also give you an alarm if it gets too high or too low. We have a temperature calibrate. What you can use that for, your room temperature or your tank temperature. If your probe gets at a point to where it's not reading accurately, you can adjust that, get a known good thermometer, check your water temperature. Right now this is showing 34.1. If your known good thermometer shows that it's 2 degrees higher than that, you can just simply add 2 degrees and it'll read correctly on the screen.
Okay.
And that is everything that's in here. When you get done, you want to hit the save data, go back to the main screen.